Welcome back to the Dividend Diplomats YouTube channel, guys. You got your boys, Bert, the Hurt Man, and Lanny, the best dividend investors here on YouTube, guys. And we're going to talk about an untalked about stock, an undiscussed stock, another unresearched, under-researched dividend growth stock that could be showing signs to have a spot in your stock portfolio today, guys.
Oh, I bet you can't wait, but I guarantee you, once we say the name, you're going to know exactly what this company does. Before we do, smash that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up. Holla at your boys here, the Dividend Mother Effing Diplomats. Let's get to financial freedom together, one dividend stock at a time.
Guys, we're going to dive into the healthcare industry. No, no, don't worry. We're not talking about Pfizer today.
God,
We're
no.
not talking about AbbVie. We're not talking about Johnson and Johnson. We're not talking about Lilly. We're not talking about Bristol Myers either. We're gonna dig into a little bit of healthcare, the
Mhm.
untalked about healthcare, right, Bert?
Yes, because they're a huge role. They play a huge role in data. They play a huge role in what goes into a lot of the research and helping you get what's needed for said research. That's why we're pumped up to talk about this company here today.
It's all about testing, research, and data here, guys, because
Mhm.
we're talking about Quest Diagnostics, ticker symbol DGX.
Love
Almost like the Generation X, guys.
it.
You got to look because even the G you can argue is for generation.
Yeah,
So
it, it
let's
counts. We're doing it. We're doing it. We got two words for this channel.
subscribe now. All
Love it.
right, guys, let's get
Absolutely
into
love
Quest Diagnostics. All right, Quest Diagnostics, guys. They're a nice clinical laboratory, guys. They're delivering over
Yeah.
50 million tests every single year. Obviously, they did get a big momentarily bump from COVID-19, but actually now it doesn't really play too much of a factor in their performance. So they're definitely a few steps ahead of where Pfizer wishes they were at right now. So, because despite all of the downturns in COVID testing and the research that needs to be with COVID-19 right now, Quest Diagnostics, again, ticker symbol
Mhm.
DGX, their quarter four revenue was only down less than 2% compared to 2022. They're still at about 2.3 billion in revenue, guys. So they're still cranking it out on a quarterly basis. But, again, that's even with the downturn in COVID-19 testing revenue.
Yeah, and what positions them better than a pharmaceutical company that's exposed to the drugs that help fight COVID is when COVID ends, those pharmaceutical companies are kind of left holding the bag. That revenue's gone unless COVID comes back, which sure it is, but clearly it's not coming back to some of the same levels, nowhere close to it. That revenue's gone. Quest Diagnostics, I'm sorry, I hate to say it, illnesses, issues just keep happening. If it's not COVID, it'll be the next one, and then after that one, it'll be the next one. There's always going to be something that needs medical research, that needs medical attention, and that's why they are able to only see revenue drop 2% when COVID revenues for all the other companies are down 80%, down 70%.
The beauty is their base business revenue models, when you exclude COVID, it's actually up 4.7% in the quarter and up 7.1% year to date. So this company is like, guys, we're here to
Yeah.
grow. And like Bert said, COVID or not, we're still performing all the tests, labs, diagnostics that are necessary across, the country.
Yeah.
They're there.
Yeah.
So
They're not small either. They're a Fortune 500 company. So clearly they built this up to something massive. Um, they know what they're doing. They know how to grow. They know how to monetize as much information as they can. That's the name of the game. And that's what brings them here in this video, delivered to all of you right now. Lanny, should we run them through our stock screener and see what the metrics are looking like here?
I The diplomats run Quest Diagnostics through the Dividend Diplomat stock screener focused on the three metrics. One, the price to earnings ratio less than the S&P 500. Two, the dividend payout ratio less than 60%. And three, history of growing dividends at a nice above average rate that complements that last metric, that dividend yield. Bert, they are down 12% this year. Quest Diagnostics, DGX, down to $124 per share, down since last year, 14%. Guess what? Analysts, well, management's saying they're going to earn between 769 and 799. So we're going to use the midpoint of 784 in earnings per share. That first metric, that PE ratio, Bert, 15.8, undervalued.
Yeah, I would agree, especially compared to the S&P 500. That's showing definitely some signs of undervaluation. Not the cheapest, but quality isn't cheap, no matter what you say. That's the lesson I think we've learned more than anything over the last year and a half is quality is not cheap.
Bert, what about the quality in that dividend payout ratio for Quest?
All right, their annual dividend is $3 per share. That payout ratio isn't even at 40%. It's at 38.27%. There's plenty of room to keep growing that dividend for year after year after year after year. You want to tell us about that dividend growth, Lanny?
Dividend growth, guys, 12 plus years of growing dividends. They actually just increased the dividend recently, guys. I'm sure if you guys owned Quest, you probably were like, all right, that's decent. We'll take it in 2024. They increased it 5.6%, which was just below their 7% 5 year growth rate on average. Hey, maybe that is mainly due to, hey, we are just getting out of the COVID stuff. We're finally closing the chapter there. Let's do a modest dividend increase, especially with all the interest rate headwinds, plus consumer headwinds, plus, all the other cost measures that they probably are also going through. But still 5.6% increase. Again, been doing it for 12 years on Quest side.
Love it. So let's talk about that yield. Even with the dividend increase, their yield is now 2.42%. So a nice little premium there to the S&P 500, which is in the mid one. So that's a nice solid dividend yield for Quest.
Guys, again, current ratio on the balance sheet side, pretty liquid company here, 1.3x. Nothing wrong about that. 5 year dividend yield on average is 1.94%. So almost 50 basis points higher than that 5 year average, which again is a big difference when you were only yielding 1.94%. So just got to keep that in mind with DGX here. So, Bert,
Yeah, love
do a
it.
quick summary real quick.
Love it. PE's almost 16, payout ratio is 38%, 5 year dividend growth rate 7%. Increase that dividend for 12 plus years. They're halfway to becoming that dividend aristocrat with a yield of 2.42%. Lanny, what on earth are you thinking here about Quest?
you know, I need to look through the dividend stocks in my portfolio. I've got to really look at maybe some of the other spinoffs that I own. Um, I've got to look at those stocks that
Mhm.
are around 3% or less that haven't done much and have limited to zero dividend growth because I really like Quest.
Yeah.
If I use just the last dividend increase at 5.6 plus the yield right now, we're only at about an 8% factor. I usually like that a little bit higher, closer to 9. So they're right there. I hate to
Mhm.
say it, but it's like they're
They're
are
close.
really, yeah, they're close. I mean, you know, they really do need to drop another 15. They get down to the 110, sub 110 stock price range. If I just push that into the metrics, yeah, you're getting closer to that 2.7, 2.75% yield. I definitely would feel, a little bit better getting closer to that 8.5+% overall dividend factor. But definitely going to be on my radar right now. And I'll see if there's a way I could swing it without losing growth or dividend growth
Well,
to swap spots.
yeah, and I wonder if there are any companies that are about to be part of a closed acquisition too that might have funds coming your way in the next couple of months there. Hint, hint, because I've thought about that as well for other companies too. So it's a great way to move into a position you want to. It's not for me right now because just I don't want to add positions. I already added one, so I went against it with air products and chemicals. So that's the new position I'm loading up on. But if I decide to add another one, Quest easily shoots up the list because you're absolutely right, Lanny. These metrics are looking phenomenal for them. I dig it and I see why you're watching them, and I could see why anyone else would watch them too.
The business model is just there. You know what I mean? Where, they're going to be used. And that's where I'm like, who could disrupt it, right? Is it, I just don't know. Um,
Yeah.
but let us know what you guys think about Quest Diagnostics. Do you guys own DGX? Why did you buy DGX if you do own it? Are you buying after this 12% stock drop here in 2024? Do you think that, hey, they've got plenty enough of a moat to where business is only going to be growing from here on out? Let us know in the comments.
If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Give this video a thumbs up. And Lanny, what do we need to tell all the diplomaniacs out there?
Let me tell you something, brother. No, 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 hold on. No, no, that's not it. We got two words. No, no,
Mm-mm.
no, no, that's not it. You're either with us or you're against us, Jack. That was Bert, the Hurt, and Lanny from the Dividend Diplomats. Over and out.